Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer Cole, and welcome to our seminar, Downsizing with Purpose. I'm just going to touch on a few light housekeeping things today for our Zoom presentation. We would ask that all of our participants be on mute, although we welcome questions. So if you have a burning question, feel free to type it into the chat feature and we should be able to address it. We'll give an opportunity for questions at the end as well. And also looking for your feedback. I want to hear if this presentation helped you, how we could help you more in the future, or if there's any other topics that you would like us to cover, whether it's about downsizing, RiverMead, or anything related to healthy senior aging. We're happy to do that. And let us know what you think about downsizing too. If you ever feel like you're stuck and you need resources, please reach out to myself or Jeremy. We're happy to help you find resources for your downsizing journey. So today, what I'd like to do to get started is just a quick overview of RiverMead. For some of you, this may be new to you. And then I will introduce our speakers and we'll get on with our program. So real quick, a little bit about RiverMead. We are a Type A life care retirement community. We have a not-for-profit mission, and we have been here operating in the Monadnock region for the past 30 years. We have two campuses, our Mead campus, which is our original campus, and our Village campus, which we built 10 years ago. So between the two campuses, we have 181 different independent living options, apartments, cottages, and villas. We also offer assisted living and memory support. We have about 300 residents total here on our 96 acres. This is an overview of our Mead campus. This is a drone shot early in the morning, just showing the layout and how we're spread out here, kind of nestled in the woods. And here's a shot of our Village campus. This really shows how nestled in the woods we are with the mountains in the background. So really, living at RiverMead is all about the lifestyle and having a life where you're free of home maintenance and worry. And we call our presentation Downsizing with Purpose, because there is a purpose to all this. The purpose for downsizing is to be free of clutter, possessions, the old me, your old life. The purpose of downsizing is to open new doors, find new possibilities for yourself and a new me. The purpose of downsizing is to make a good financial plan for your future, getting rid of the cost of home maintenance, and just sort of having a plan. It's also not to leave this job to your loved ones. The purpose of downsizing is to do this on your own terms so that you're in the driver's seat and you're preparing for your future. So we're lucky today to have a resident, a RiverMead resident who lives here and has recently moved in. And her name is Linda Claff. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about her downsizing journey and how she approached it. And I think you'll find this really interesting and helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and have Linda start speaking.
Thank you, Jennifer. 3 months ago, my husband and I moved to RiverMead. We left we sold our home, which was 2,400 square feet with a full basement and 2-car garage, and moved from it into a little less than 700 square feet at RiverMead. I think of myself as the queen of downsizing. And I just want to let you know some things that helped us. First of all, do know that if you're doing this on your own, it can be stressful. And you want to be sure, first of all, to take care of yourself. If you're coming with your spouse, talk about it. Talk to one another. Talk about who will do which task. and your strengths, play to those. Find some ways to be kindly to one another, to avoid stress. Go out for an ice cream cone every now and then. If you're coming on your own, find a family member or a friend who can be there for you emotionally. It's really important. And also to go out for ice cream with you. I think the first thing that we did that I think is a good idea is to decide which big pieces of furniture you plan to bring with you. Make a list, put down the sizes, and then go to the RiverMead website and use the floor planner, which is great fun. You can move things around and in virtual space and see what will fit and what will not. Do give yourself a little bit more space than the floor planner says, because you don't want things jammed in. And remember that you've got all of RiverMead itself. My husband desperately wanted a desk for a project he's working on. There was no room for it. He's now goes every day to the library here, and that has become his office. And he doesn't need a desk. Don't neglect about 2 months before you move to hire your mover. You don't want to be told that they can't take your that they can't work for you. Here in Peterborough, we used everything moving. It's a local mover. If you're at a bigger distance, you'll need one of the big boys. Also, think about hiring a house clean out service. You can find them on Google. We used one called Trash Can Willie. They come into your house at the very end and take anything that you are not taking with you. And they just take it out and take it all away and sweep your house out and you're done. Sort everything. A big pile of things to give away. There's nothing better than giving something you love to someone you love. Family members, friends, neighbors are going to appreciate a gift from you. Another pile or list of things to sell or consign. Google is your friend here. Find the local consignment shops, antique shops, to get rid of some of the things that you need, that you don't need, and that you're not going to take with you. Be ruthless. In the 3 months that I've been here, I've talked to a lot of people about moving in. They all say, we brought too much with us. Nobody says, gee, we should have brought more stuff. Get rid of it now. Consider a yard sale. People come to your garage or your yard, and for a few dollars take things away that they need. Also, think about the local recycling center. Most of them will have something called a mini mall or a put and take, where people who are in need can take the things that you don't need. It's a great way to get rid of stuff. We went through our books. You can see the remainder of them behind me, but we had enormous quantities of books. If you're local, the Toadstool Bookstore, you probably know the used book dealer there, Jeff. You can bring a box in and he will give you store credit for the ones that he wants. What you may not know is that if you have a large collection of books, he will come to your house and purchase them and write you a check. We sold him 150 cookbooks and approximately the same number of photography books. It's a great way to weed out your books. Also, the Hancock Library locally has an enormous book sale every year, and they take books starting in the spring for the sale that occurs in August. If you start going through your photo albums and enjoy and savor them, but then be ruthless with them. Consider putting them into albums for children, friends, or take them to a reputable camera shop. I took them to the Peterborough Camera, and they will take your slides and your photos and put them on a thumb drive so you can use them in your computer. I look at them more often than I ever did when they were in albums. If you have other precious things, it's the same thing. Sort and enjoy them, savor them, keep a very few, and know that the rest of them will be in your heart and your mind, but not cluttering up your house. You can do this. I wish you well with it. I'm going to turn you back to Jennifer, and I look forward to meeting you at RiverMead. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda. That was so well said and actually inspiring. I think you give a good story and you did it. So good for you. Pat yourself on the back. So next up, we're going to have Robin and Sarah. Robin Felch and Sarah Lopez. And they are from a company called Taylor Transitions. And I'd say about a month ago, they sent me one of their books in the mail. And I read it cover to cover right away. And it really spoke to what I've been experiencing here at RiverMead, dealing with folks moving in the downsizing process. They had great scenarios, great stories, and great tips. So we asked them to be part of our presentation today. So we're going to say, go ahead, Sarah and Robin, take it from here.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. This is the first Zoom presentation we've done. We usually do them live in front of people. So this is actually the first presentation I've done in my slippers. I'm going to share my screen. So a lot of people, we like to start when we first meet with people or talk to people and just find out where they are. Are they thinking of downsizing and moving in less than 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months? So we tend to, once we know what people's time frame is, and when you know what your time frame is, it's easier to create a plan and a strategy. We often suggest to do your research about where you want to live. If you're in the beginning stages, you want to find out what your interests are, where you are financially. Do you want to be close to family and friends? Do you not want to be close to family and friends? And you want to choose a place that best fits your lifestyle. We've had many clients move from the community that they're familiar with. They move closer to their children, their adult children, thinking that that's going to be a wonderful thing. And what they often find is their adult children are busy and they're not seeing them as often as they hoped that they would. And they've moved back to their community. And they've ended up being happier. So just figure out where you want to live, where you want to be close to. Surround yourself with qualified professionals. Linda was amazing and she did the whole process herself. Some people get too overwhelmed. So you'll want to get a team in place. Linda talked about making sure you have someone to support you emotionally and to go out to ice cream with. And those things are really important. Sarah and I, the company that we own is a senior move management company. And we help people transition from large homes to small homes or small homes to large homes. We just help people with the transition process. So you can use organizations like us as a resource. You can use the senior living community personnel to help you know what's available in the area. You want to, if you're selling your house, you want to do it with a real estate agent. Home repair contractors, you might have things that you need to repair on your home before you can put it on the market. An estate liquidator for the things that you're not bringing with you and that family doesn't want. And a moving company. Most people that we've worked with, typically 20 to 30 years ago, moved themselves. And we're all 20 to 30 years older. And although mentally we might think that we can do it all, having the younger, stronger people do the heavy lifting is well worth the money that you spend. And then focusing on what you want is a lot more fun than focusing on what you don't want. If you focus on the positive side of downsizing, it feels a lot less overwhelming and a lot more liberating. If you, instead of going through your house, looking at everything that you don't think you have room for, and you've got to figure out what to do with it, and it's just not fun. But if you tweak the way you look at it into shopping in your home for the things that you love, then it becomes more rewarding. So choose your favorite things. And keep in mind that if you have a spouse, your spouse might have different favorite things. And you're going to get what you focus on. If you focus on the positive side of this experience, it will be less overwhelming for you. For those of you that need to sell your home, we recommend getting 2 to 3 real estate agents from your area. Get referrals from people that you know who have gone through the process. They're going to come into your home. They're going to look at it. They're going to give you a market analysis to give you an idea of what it will sell for. It's sometimes different than what you think it is worth. It is actually going to show you what comparable homes in your area have actually sold for. I was in real estate for about 8 years. And when my parents, it was time for them to sell their home because they were moving in with us so I could help take care of my mom. It was a waterfront home, but the house itself wasn't spectacular. And my dad, in his mind, thought it was worth X amount of dollars. And I said to him, Dad, that's not what the market is telling me. Well, he didn't believe me. And then he got a real estate agent, and the actual selling price was what I told him. We recommend paying for a home inspection. And if you don't know what that is, when somebody is getting ready to purchase your home, they hire a professional home inspector to come into your home, look at everything. How's the roof? How's the heating system? How's the septic system? Are there leaks anywhere? How's the wiring? And they just go through it and make sure that nothing glaring is going to come up, or if it might uncover something glaring. And at that point, it might be a deal breaker for the people buying your home. It just can be stressful. If you do it ahead of time, you're going to pay, I don't know what it is now, $400, $500, $600, pay for your own home inspection, and you'll get your own person to come in. And then that will show you if everything is okay, or if there's something that pops up that you didn't know about. And you can go ahead and take care of that before you put it on the market, or you can make people aware of it when you list the property. And that I've found can eliminate a lot of stress during the selling process. But you can talk, that's me, that's what I suggest. Your real estate agent might have a different opinion. That's just something that I've found to be useful. Decluttering will increase the value of your home. This is a before and after of a property that Sarah and I did quite a few years ago. And obviously the one on the left feels a little crowded. The room feels small. The picture on the right is a lot more inviting, and it has a more peaceful feel to it. People are going to stay in that house a little bit longer, walk around, and they're able to visualize their things in it. It just will make a big difference for you. That's another same house. And now, before Sarah takes over here dealing with a house full of possessions. But before she starts, I'd like to open it up, see if anybody has any questions before we go on to the next phase.
Robin, you forgot to mention if they're shopping for their home.
Oh, that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Right. So if you're considering moving and you've been in your home for 30 plus years, your kids grew up there, your grandkids have come and grown up there, and there's a lot of happy memories there, it may be hard for you emotionally to think about selling and moving from that home. So what I recommend is that you step back and you look at the house that you're in. And if you were currently in the market for a house, would you buy the house that you're in? Do you want to be on one level? Is the house you're in now maybe 2 levels with the washer and dryer in the basement? So that's a good way to look at it, is would I buy this house now if I were looking for a house? So that's the part I forgot. But
And that's what leads us right into this next part. When you're dealing with, some people they'll go in and they'll see the house that's just perfect for them, or the community that has, you know, the perfect community, but oh, how am I going to get my home into 700 feet or 1400 feet? And it kind of, it gets your anxiety going. And so we say, how many rooms do you live in actually? And the other rooms just hold your stuff, right? So you live in probably the living room, the bathroom, the kitchen, and your bedroom. And, you know, maybe you have an office or a den, but the other rooms, you know, they just hold stuff. And so we're gonna address the stuff right now. That's my job. And Robin says I'm the mean one, but I'm really not. I just like to be super practical and realistic, so there's a happy landing on the other side. So you don't come with too many things like Linda spoke about, that so many people have said, oh, I brought too much. Well, Robin and I can attest that in our almost 9 years, going on 9 years of doing this, we have never had one person say, oh, I wish I brought more. Never. So take notes. Here we go. So like Linda talked about, you start with a floor plan, and that's where we usually start. We'll go in and measure, and you know, so you can negotiate with yourself. What are my favorite pieces? What do I love? What do I want to take? And then look, okay, are they practical? You know, sometimes what you think has always held your TV, maybe you can find something else to hold your TV that has drawers or has other things that you can layer in. So it's kind of thinking outside the box. You pick your favorites, and then you look around and you say, okay, would something else be better in this place? And you kind of negotiate with yourself. And that's what this is all about. It's you making decisions and picking your favorites, but then negotiating what will best meet your needs. And then you think about, are they worth the space they're taking up? We always say in our book, we say no freeloaders, don't allow freeloaders. So are they paying you back for their space? Are they paying their rent, basically? Are they making you happy? Do you use them often? You know, are they serving you currently, not your past self, but your current self? So are you skiing? Are you, and we're going to address some of those things, the more specific things, but could they serve someone better at this time? And I think Linda talked about that. The things that you love, maybe someone else would love as well. And I know that we've had some really happy endings with like skis that were donated to a school for maybe you know, if a young family that just couldn't afford to start out and put their son on that ski team. So there are some things that the things that you have loved and enjoyed, you can let them live on so they can continue to bless other people. And then of course the question, would you buy it again? You know, would you buy that item again? Would you buy well, we're going to talk about that, but that's something, yeah. And I think the most important part, and I don't know, oh yeah, I didn't know I had more questions here.
Because if you do know where you're going.
Use it, you wear it, yeah. Books, will you read it again? We always have so many books. Robin, how many, we were just telling Linda, how many books did that one family have?
20,000. And half were in French.
20,000 books. And I bet anything, they were not, most of those they were not going to read again. And so they picked their favorite, and you know, but remember, if you're going to take books, you need a place for them to land, right? So you better bring a bookshelf. And then once that bookshelf is full, then you have no place for your books. So you have to get really realistic about, oh, I love this. Does it have a place to land? Does it have a home in my new place? Does it have a bookshelf? Does it have, you know, a cabinet for it to land in? And then, is it stuffed in a closet? Is it in the garage? And I think we have time to tell a story, but I was working with a woman that we were going through her closet. In the top of the closet, there was a box, and in that box was a raincoat. And so, oh, there's a lovely raincoat. Well, do you want to keep it? Well, it's a very nice raincoat. Is it serving you right now? Do you like it better than the raincoat that's in your closet? No, I really like the raincoat in my closet. Okay. So are you going to go in your closet in the box to find the raincoat when it's raining, or will you just use the one in your closet? So after, talking about it, she said, I guess I'll donate that. So you have to kind of think about it. If it's stuffed in a closet somewhere or in the garage, it's not current to you. It's not paying you back. You're losing money. It's not paying your rent. Does it evoke a nice memory or a pleasant, maybe you have some souvenirs from a trip that you took. We had a woman that went to Hawaii and she had lots of things from Hawaii because that was her favorite place. So she picked her favorites. And then, maybe there's like another woman had her husband's childhood stuffed toy. And she said, you know what? I think it's time to let this go. So she took a picture of it, and this really does work. You take a picture of it, and that memory continues to live on. Every time you look at that picture on your phone, guess what? That memory is going to resurface. You don't have to have the item to have the memory. So that's a really good way to save space, is by taking pictures of the things that you need to part with if they're emotional for you. And I think we already talked about it's okay to donate.
Do you want to talk about the Ohio rule?
Oh, Ohio, it's my favorite rule.
Except
So
it's
when you're
different.
sorting through your stuff, you only handle it once. Oh, that's
It's
spelled
backward.
wrong.
It's bad.
It's backward.
How that happens.
Well, it's not the Ohio rule, it's the Ohio rule. So it's only handle it once. So what that means is when you're sorting through your belongings, you pick something up, you look at it, you make a decision, and then it goes either in the keep pile, it goes in the donate pile, or it goes to a family and friends pile, or maybe it's trash. But you handle it once. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting a lot of time, and we call that getting on that hamster wheel. You're going to be on the hamster wheel wasting a lot of time because you're going to pick it up and you're going to say, oh, you know what? I don't know, maybe. And it's going to go, I'm going to put it over on the guest bed for now and then you do something else. And pretty soon, then you're going to have to go in the guest bed. Oh, I don't know, maybe then we're going to move it over here. Then it's going to move over there. And you're just going to be chasing your things around. So you really try to make clear, concise decisions the first time around. And that's why we see the closer you get to the move, the clearer your decision making gets, because clarity comes as you realize I have to really get serious about this and make some decisions. So I want to know who knows how to trap a monkey. Now I can't see the gallery, but I'll let you think about it. Okay, so this is how you trap a monkey. You put something very tempting to a monkey, maybe a banana or nuts, and you put it inside like a box or a gourd, right? With just a small hole, just enough that he can fit his hand in there. Then he grabs them, but now his fist is a little bit bigger than his hand, and he can't get it out. And now he's stuck. And so the trapper comes and they'll get the monkey because he will not let go of what he has in there in his hand. And it's just such a great analogy for, we say, don't be a monkey. What traps you? What's going to keep you from moving forward to where you need to be, or what is best for you? So these are some things that we have found in our experience of what kind of keeps people from moving forward. Guilt. My great grandmother's china that was given to my mother, that was put in a box and that was in the attic, but my mother kept it in the attic and then it moved to my attic and it's never been used because it's too nice. So that might be a trap, because if you're never going to use that, now your space is reduced and maybe you don't have room for the china. And guess what? A lot of children, they don't want it. There's a minimalist kind of movement going on, and they just are not collectors. You may be from generations that collected things. You collected the Lenox or the Hummels or the different pieces that you would collect, or china. And the younger generation, they're the consumers now, and they just don't want it. They just don't live that. That's not their lifestyle. They use their best paper plates instead of china. And so that might something. So guilt sometimes keeps us holding on to things because we feel bad about letting it go. So I think you have to say, you know what, do I want my kids to feel guilty and hold on to something and drag it around for generations? You know, just let it go. It's time to break that guilt, the chain of guilt. Sentiments. So maybe there are things that you do feel very sentimental about. We talked about that, about maybe taking a picture of it and helping. That really does help to let it go. And then you can still have the sentiment and the memory and the feeling without the actual item. How about this next one?
Can I tell a story about sentiments real quick?
Yes.
So I had my grandfather's slippers. I was with him when he passed away, and his old leather crummy slippers were under his bed. And I asked my grandmother what I should do with them. And she said, oh, throw those things away. Well, I couldn't. I kept them. I probably held on to them for 20 years. And I knew that my kids didn't care about his slippers because they didn't know him the way I knew him. Those slippers didn't mean anything to them. So I said, well, let me take a picture of them because I'll still have, I mean, it's a still stupid pair of slippers, but they just brought out this emotion in me that I could just remember my grandfather with love. And I took a picture of those slippers and then I gave them to my youngest cousin who had the same relationship with my grandfather. And now she has them at her house. And I don't know what she's going to do with them, but I still have the picture of my grandfather's slippers and I still remember him by looking at the picture.
That's awesome. I hope my kids want my slippers someday. All right, so the next one is you paid a lot of money for it. And this one we hear, well, oh, I paid a lot of money for that. You know, I can't get rid of that. Are you using it? No. Do you love it? Not really. Why do you have it? Well, I have it because I paid a lot of money for it. And that's why I haven't got rid of it. So, you know, there is a time where you have to say, okay, that money has been spent already. If anyone has ever heard the term sunk cost, you know, you put in that money, it's spent, you put it on there, but there's a point, it's not paying you back. In fact, it's kind of taking up space. So if we think of like space as rental space, you know, you only have so much space when you're downsizing. And if it's taking up space, it has to be paying you back somehow. So you're almost like you're losing money on it. There's a saying that says that getting rid of something that you paid a lot of money for, it doesn't make you any more rich or any more poor. So it doesn't affect you because that money is spent, it's already gone. So it might be time to let that thing go. There's a, you know, and Robin's going to get into the market of the collectibles a little bit later, but you know, there's not a big market. So people do have a hard time sometimes saying, you know, well, I'd rather burn it than sell it for $100. We did have that once. That's a $6,000 sofa. I'd rather burn it than give it away for $100. Well, you know, that's your choice, but the fact is that it's not going to fit. So you have to get kind of realistic about that. And this next one, oh, but it's still useful. I'm sure you've heard yourself say that. Well, yeah, well, that's a perfectly good microwave. You know, well, why is it in your basement? Oh, well, because we bought a new one upstairs and we like it better. But we keep this one just in case that other one breaks. Guess what? Let the store be your storage unit. Now it's time to get rid of things, even if it's still useful, because you're not going to have a place to store the extra microwave or the just in case. Because I guarantee if that microwave upstairs went out, they go buy a new microwave that they loved and still not use the one in the basement. So that's just from experience. We can share so many stories because, you know, generally we're all the same. You know, I've been in all of your kitchens. I've been in all of your basements. I've been in all of your attics because we really do live pretty much the same. And so I can tell you, you're not going to use it, get rid of it. If you're not using the stuff in your home, get rid of it. You're not going to start using it more by shoving it in a closet somewhere. Your space is valuable to you. And you don't want to say, I'm not going to be bullied by my belongings. And tell yourself, nope, this is my choice. I'm not going to be bullied by my belongings. Focus on what you want. So this is a Robin's college friend. She did some cartoons for us. And so this is a woman shopping figuratively, in her home for things that she wants to take with her to her new place. And the man is like, hey, is there enough room in the cart for these? And we have what do we have? I can't read it. Some souvenir mugs.
Old cassette tapes, random screws and nails.
That are still good. So, yeah, so don't be a monkey and don't be bullied by your belongings. Your space is precious to you at this point.
This where I come back.
Yeah, but we have a worksheet for them, and that was mailed to you. I don't know if you printed it off or she mailed one that was already printed. But on there, it has kind of a suggestion of things where you can start. So it has a list kind of by each room or categories. And I want you to go through that. And I want, if you are with a spouse, then you and your spouse or your other, I want you to do them separately. No circling something on the other guy's paper.
It's called Where to Start. And,
where to start.
And just circle 10 things to start with. Out of the whole page, front and back, just pick 10 areas to start with.
And let me give you a hint. Don't start with the things that are most sentimental to you. That's not the place to start. Because it takes a while to be a good decision maker when you're dealing with your own things. Now, I can be a really good decision maker with other people's things, but when it comes to my own things, it's a little harder. So don't start the sentimental. You got to build up to that. Start with the easy stuff, like the junk drawer.
Or the food, that's stuff that's out of date. That's pretty easy.
Yes. Or the kitchen utensils. So I have to say that, my husband and I, we have a favorite peeler, right? We have 3 potato peelers. We use one of them. And if it's dirty, we never even choose the other 2. We go into the dishwasher and clean the one that we love. And so why do we have 3? I don't know. Right now it's because we have room. But I really need to go home and throw 2 potato peelers away. So it's those kind of things. We had a woman that had 13 bunting pans. And I had to ask her, how often do you bunt? And how many can you bunt at a time? And, she laughed and I got her down to 9, but still, I got her down to half. That's still a lot of bunting pans.
So let's, anybody have any questions up to this point? Or do you want to save them all for the very end?
I'll just hop in and say something really quickly. If you have not yet received that worksheet, you will after this session. There were a few kind of last minute joiners. So if you haven't gotten that, you will later this afternoon.
Thank you, Jeremy. So what to do with the things you're not keeping? By this point, you've done your floor plan. You know the furniture that you want to keep. You know the stuff that you want to bring with you. What to do with what you're not keeping. If your kids don't want it, we've already talked about donation. Some things just get thrown away. Some things can be sold. Probably not grandma's china, but silver, jewelry, some smaller antiques. Big furniture is not a hot item right now. And then if your kids do want it, make a distribution list. Who gets what? And give your family members a deadline. They tend to procrastinate. Make arrangements for them to pick it up or have it shipped. I was going through my garage, and my adult daughter had a ton of stuff there. And I gave her a deadline. I said, you got to get it out by such and such a date, or it's leaving. And she didn't, and it left. And she said, where's my stuff? I said, it's gone. she didn't get too mad because she knew that she dropped the ball. So be decisive, right or wrong, make a decision. Do you remember a few years ago, probably 4 or 5 now, there were all these dead squirrels in the road. You go down the highway, there were like 50 dead squirrels on your trip. It's because they couldn't make a decision. Do I cross the road, not cross the road? So the road of life is paved with flat squirrels who couldn't make a decision. Don't be a squirrel. Don't be a monkey, don't be a squirrel, right? Well, a lot of people think a picture on the left, that straight arrow, is what success looks like. But what it really looks like is the picture on the right. It's messy in the middle, but you do get through it and out to the other side. So parting with your valuables. If you have antiques, there are antique buyers that will come to your home. Take a look at what you have and make an offer on what they're interested in. Most of these antique buyers are buying to resell. So you may not get what you paid for it, but it might be a solution to help you move forward. So you can accept their offer, negotiate, or refuse it. You can place your items in an auction. You can put your items in a consignment store. You can sell your items on eBay if you want to bother with that. And then the thing to remember is not all collectibles are sellables. You may be able to find a buyer, but often at a lower price than what you paid. And we don't like to bring that message to people, but it is the reality of it. Hummels, people spent a lot of money on Hummels years and years ago, and they had a lot of fun collecting them. Well, eBay has brought the value of them down because anybody can get a Hummel now. You can go on eBay and for their average Hummel, you can pay anywhere from $5 to $10. There are some rare ones that are exception to the rule, but they're not going to get the amount of money that you think they will.
If you're looking things, oh, can I just, if you're gonna look things up, you're trying to find the value of something, we usually will go to eBay and go to what has sold, not what it's listed for, because that doesn't tell you anything, but what it actually has sold for, and that's in the filter part of it. And that will tell you the realistic, because you know, something's only worth what someone's gonna pay you for. And so you go to the sold part. And also, I don't know if just like the Hummels were of, I don't know what year that was, but the Beanie Babies of the 80s, people aren't retiring off those either. So don't feel bad.
I think that was the 90s, because I think my mother bought every single Beanie Baby for my daughter or my son. I can't remember which kid. Anyway.
Well, and there's also Facebook Marketplace for those that are used to doing that and confident in doing that. You know, because we work with the older generation, we don't often talk about that, but maybe sometimes the kids will put things on Marketplace, and that's a really good way to get things sold that maybe don't have a market other ways. If you really are intent on selling, sometimes it's better just to move forward and find a solution and kind of let it go. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, so I have a secret on how to maybe get your kids to want some things that have been in the family for a while. You've got to attach a story and a history to the thing. I have my great-great-grandfather's, it's like a coffee table, but it's a chest. It's a chest. And it became valuable to me because my grandmother told me about my great-great-grandfather. And then she said that he actually built this chest to the exact measurement of his pants. So he didn't have to fold his pants. I mean, it sounds like a silly story, but it made that piece of furniture have more meaning to me because there was a story attached to it. So that's one way to create an interest in the things that have been in your family for a while, is help your kids and your grandkids kind of get to know the person that came from. The other thing you can do is tell your family and friends what your plans are. I met with a couple on Tuesday that are getting ready to move and to downsize. And we did the floor plan, and they now know what furniture that they can bring with them. And they live in a big neighborhood, and they're going to just let the neighborhood know that they're moving, and they have some things that they would like to give away and to come on over and take a look and see if there's anything that they would like. So I think that's a really great solution. You might have a friend that has a child or a grandchild that are just getting ready to start their own life in their own apartment. And they might need that old couch, or they might need the excess kitchen stuff that you're not going to bring. And it's a good way to find a solution. Your adult children might be more emotional about this move than you are, or they might be relieved that you're making the decision now so that they don't have to do that. Sarah, there's one thing we forgot to mention in the beginning, and that was how wise it is to make the decision now to make this transition while you're still healthy and vibrant, and you can be the one in charge of making these decisions. Quite often when we come into somebody's home, they've waited too long, and one of the spouses or one of the partners is ill, or both of them are ill, or their health is declining, and they're just not able to participate as much as they would have liked to 5 or 10 years ago. So it's just, we're always impressed when people come to our downsizing seminars at the wisdom that you're showing about making decisions now while you're the one that are in charge. Packing and moving. So this is when we're involved. And you've hired professionals, you're working with a move manager, we've lined up the moving company, scheduled everything, your new home is ready, everything is just ready for you. So we pack the day before the move, so you're not living in a chaos, a world of boxes. It's all done the day before the move. The movers come, they load the truck, they go to your new place, they unload the truck, and then we do all the unpacking and setting up one day, and we make the beds, take the mess away.
Can I point out, we do work ahead of time to get
Right.
things ready for packing day. So we work in like little work sessions to go through to make sure that we know exactly what's coming, and then if there needs to be solutions for things that aren't coming.
Right. We'll help you. We'll ask the tough questions and help you process through the situation where you can make clear decisions. And then we also will carry things away for donation at the end of each work session. So we say if we can lift it, it will fit in our van. We can take it away for you so that you are just focusing on making decisions. The other thing we didn't mention was subcategories. You can get overwhelmed with subcategories of what to do with the things that you're not keeping. Like, we had one woman who saved all of her, those free stickers you get in the mail that have your address, and then they have like a little cute little flower on the left-hand side. Well, she was saving all those because she was going to cut the flower off and then donate those little stickers to the school. Sometimes you get overwhelmed with running around in 4, 5, 10 different categories of where you want to donate things to. And often it's much easier to just have one location you're bringing things to, and then trust the process that it will get dispersed to the places that will appreciate it the most. I hope that makes sense. So you want to celebrate. You're now you've reached this part of our seminar, you're pretty much done. It didn't take long to do all that. See, well, don't you feel better? So you're moving on to the next chapter. You're not going to be, you don't have to worry about snow blowing, shoveling, bringing in wood, mowing the lawn, all those things that become more and more labor intensive the older we get. You are just freed up to just play and have fun and just do the fun stuff. Change is challenging for some people, especially those of us that are New Englanders, but embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. Everyone we have helped transition has been happy that they did it. And most of them wish they had done it a lot earlier. Once they've gone through the process and they've realized that it's not as painful as they thought, they wish they had done it sooner.
So we had one man that was moving into a community, and you know, it was a really nice community, and he was like, well, I'll tell you ladies, this is either going to be the best decision I've ever made or the worst. And then we caught up with him about a month or two later, like, okay, Dennis, tell us, was it what was it? He said, this was the best decision I ever made. And so that made us happy because we helped him get to a place kind of over a hump where he could just have fun and enjoy what he's worked so hard his whole life for, really.
Yeah. So here's the list of what we do as move managers. We have connections with antique buyers. We have connections with companies that do estate sales, auction houses. We do donations. We assist with the sorting, help with the floor plan, picking the moving date. We coordinate with the moving company. We do the packing, and then we do the unpacking. But the biggest thing we want to do is help remove the stress associated with this. And we do that if you let us. Some of you got a copy of our book. It is available on Amazon as an ebook and a paperback. It's also available at Barnes & Noble and Thrift Books. And this QR code will take you to Amazon. We also have some in stock that we can mail out for a little bit less than you'll pay at these other sites. But that's what we have for you.
I'd like just to take this opportunity to share my screen and just show you all something that we have here available now at RiverMead. So we do have a 1-bedroom apartment available, apartment 119. It's on the first floor. It could be ready for occupancy as soon as March 1st. So if anyone is feeling inspired by this presentation and thinking that they'd like to make a move sooner rather than later, please reach out to us. We also have a 2-bedroom apartment. This is a kernel style, and it's 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, also on the first floor. But I know these ladies from Tailored Transitions could make any of our floor plans work for any of you. I'm confident in that, and also confident in all of you today. Thank you for showing up, and I saw many of you taking notes, and hopefully you're feeling inspired and ready to sort of tackle your next project. So I know I'm going to go home and clean out a junk drawer this weekend.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you,
Well,
Jennifer.
thank
for
you,
having
everybody.
us.
Thank you so much for participating. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Linda.